Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, students, we will continue our class this time on the sources of fund of Islamic banking. So we already discussed about the sources of fund, where the capital coming from. Other than that, there are products that provided by the Islamic bank in order to increase their business, right? So from this fund, they can expand the business through car financing, house financings, corporate large financing, for example, syndications, and so on and so forth. So now we are going to discuss about the types of its product. First is the well-known one is saving and current account, right? So I think most of you have saving accounts, because some of you are having a scholarship. So this scholarship is transferred to your saving account, and this saving account, mostly if you are using Islamic bank, is mostly they are using mudharabah account. So meaning to say that this mudharabah saving account, you will receive a profit of portions of your part from Islamic bank. Let's say, for example, 25% your portion. So 75% will be held by the Islamic bank, right? A second one is wadiah yad domana or wadiah yad amana in a contract on the saving account. But it is very rare now Islamic bank using wadiah, because it is not popular against now in currently in Islamic banking products, right? Mostly they are using mudharabah. And for the current account, they are using qard, right? Mostly in GCC market, including Oman, current account they are using a qard contract, because in qard contract, as we discussed, in the first class, in qard you cannot give any increase in amount. So any amount increase or benefit from the qard is deemed as riba, even it is 1 paisa. All right. So this is the two common saving products in Islamic bank, which are known by many people. And second thing is investment account. All right. Before we are going to investment account, so that's why most of the current account is used by those who are wants to manage their fund easily. Let's say, for example, somebody or someone or corporate wants to have check, for example. But the good thing for Islamic bank, this qard contract has no cost, zero cost, because the bank has no obligations to give any profit or additional amount to this account, right? And second thing is investment account. In investment account, this mostly used by those who have idle fund in his account. All right. Those who wants to invest for the future fund, for example. Those who wants to have more return in their account. So that's why this investment account provided to those who wants to gain more return in their account. So this investment account at least using two kind of products. First is mudharabah, and second wakalah. All right. So for mudharabah, mostly this for normal customers. For example, those who are one having for example 10,000 Oman riyal. Those who having 30,000, 50,000 up to 100,000. Mostly bank will give mudharabah investment account. How to do that, how the customer will benefit from this mudharabah. So from this mudharabah, normally the bank will give a little bit higher portion compared to the saving account. Let's say, for example, in saving mudharabah account, the customer will given a profit portion, for example, only 25%. Maximum is 30%. Alright? This is for saving account. Alright? So for investment account, normally the customer can negotiate with the bank. Alright? For example, if you have, for example, 50,000, right? 50,000 Oman Riyal. So you don't want this 25 or 30%. You can negotiate with the bank. For example, you want at least 35%. Or you can request 40%. Alright? So the higher the amount you have, the higher profit portion you can negotiate with the bank. Alright? So this is a profit portion. So the bank portion will be either 65 or 60%. This will be profit portion for the banks. And second thing, let's say if you have higher amount, for example, if you have 1 million, for example, right? If you have 1 million Omani Riyal, so you don't want to take this kind of mudharabah profit portions, mechanism. You want wakalah, which is more, comfortable mostly for the high net worth individual. For example, if you have 1 million, you come to the bank, you said, I want to have an investment account that give me more benefit. Normally the bank will tell you, okay, we have a special investment account under wakalah. Alright? So under this wakalah, you can negotiate the expected profit. Is compared to mudharabah, it is you are sharing profit portions ratio with the bank. While in the wakalah investment account, you can ask how much you can give me the expected profit. Normally the bank, okay, fine. The bank will say, okay, this is the expected profit in wakalah. Normally, for example, 3%, right? Okay, you as the having a large amount, you can negotiate more. For example, no, I don't want 3%. For example, I want 3.5. You can negotiate also, for example, 3.75, and so on and so on. This depends on the bank. If the bank needs this fund at the current in the moment, normally they will give you the higher they can. All right. But you cannot get higher than normal market, right? For example, if the maximum market is 4, you cannot get more than 4. If the market maximum can give you 3.75, they will give you 3.75, right? So this is what we call it expected profit. All right. Okay. Now the third one is, this is mostly for those who have 1 million and more. We have negotiable Islamic debt certificate. We call it an IDC, and depending on the the country. In Oman, we call it sukuk securitizations papers. All right. Some banks they can issue, for example, sukuk papers to the investor in order to gain fund. For example, for to expand their business, mostly for large corporate or his special customers, for example. So this one, how this sukuk securitizations works. For example, right? Let's say I can say we can give you example of Islamic banking A, for example. All right. This Islamic banking A, for example, he has a portfolio here. All right. This is his asset. This is his liability. Right. There is a portions of, for example, 5 million Omani Riyal here for diminishing musharaka asset means what? The bank has a portfolio of house financing based on diminishing musharaka, all right, amounting 5 million. So, for example, the bank wants to sell some part of the portfolio from here. So the bank will securitize this asset into musharaka sukuk. Musharaka sukuk. So means what? You are a partner with the Islamic bank for this kind of portfolio. So for example, the bank wants to issue sukuk out of this 5 million is 1 million. Right? So the Islamic bank will issue shares, for example, 100,000 certificates from this 1 million. So each one equivalents to 110 riyal. Let's say, for example. All right. I think this is too low. Let's say from 1 million, we can issue, let's say, 1,000 certificate. Each certificate equivalent to 1,000 Omani riyal. Right. Now, if you have 1,000 Omani riyal, you can buy one certificate here. All right. If you have 5,000, you can buy 5 certificates. So this is one of the sources of fund in Islamic bank through sukuk securitizations. All right. For the other certificate is negotiable Islamic debt certificate. This certificate normally using Bail-Ina or using Tawarruk. In Malaysia before they are using Bail-Ina, but now they are moving to Tawarruk. But Tawarruk in GCC countries is well known. But in Oman, still this kind of contract is not allowed. But what is Bail-Ina? Why this contract gain a lot of criticism from many scholars and in the world, right? So I give you example of Bail-Ina. So Bail-Ina is kind of a sale when you are selling, right? At, for example, 10,000, all right, and that person will sell back, all right, to you at 12,000. So I will gain a 2,000 benefit from this kind of transaction. Actually, the purpose of me to sell this kind of specific asset in order to get benefit from this 10,000. If I only lend you 10,000, I will not get any benefit, right? So what I will do, I will sell. I will identify first. I will identify assets. Then I will sell you these assets at 10,000. Then the other person will sell to me as 12,000. So for me, benefit for me is I will get 10,000 cash. For him is he will get a profit for 2,000 from this transaction. Let's say I give you example. Let's say there is Abdullah, right? There is Abdul Rahman. Alright. Now let's say, alright, Abdullah requires cash, for example, 10,000. Alright. So Abdullah, if he wants to borrow from Abdul Rahman will not get any benefit from this transaction. Alright. So what Abdullah will do? Alright. So Abdullah will sell his some specific asset, for example car. Alright. For example Camry. This is the example. Alright. So Abdullah will sell this Camry at cash 10,000. Alright. Now a Camry ownership is already transferred to Abdul Rahman. Alright. Because Abdul Rahman, he doesn't want this car because he is already have a car. Because the intention of this transaction is, to gain a profit from this transaction. So Abdurrahman will sell again back to this first step, second step. Will sell back, but at a higher price, right? And for example, 12,000, right? So how much he get benefit? He get benefit of 3,000. So that's why what is Belina is selling, at the lower price and sell back at the higher price in order to get a profit from this transaction. This is Belina, alright? So the second contract is Tawarruk, alright? So now let's change this one from Belina, now become Tawarruk. So how Tawarruk work? Because this, if you can see this one as just like not actual transactions, but Tawarruk we can see more, not fictitious. It's a real transaction because there is a transfer of not returned back to the same owner. Now we will add 4 party, mostly 4 party. You can in order to minimize the the fictitious one. So Abdullah here, for example, we have this seller 1. Alright, this is seller 2. Now we delete this one. Say for example, Abdurrahman wants to lend money 10,000 here, alright, to Abdullah. What he will do? First, Abdurrahman will identify assets here. For example, this is a seller 1, he's selling Toyota Camry. Alright, he purchased at 10,000. Right, Oman Real. Now this 10,000, what Abdurrahman will do? He will sell to Abdullah at the higher price. Right? And that's first. Second, he will sell at 12,000. Alright? So he can get 2,000 benefit here. Right? So if Abdullah wants to take cash from this Toyota Camry, because this is already transferred to Abdullah, so Abdullah will sell this one to the different seller at 10k. So now Abdullah will get 10,000 from this transaction, but Abdullah will pay to Abdurrahman on installment basis, installment or deferred. Right? For example, 1 year, so if you pay installment is on monthly basis is 1,000 each month, for example. So this is Tawarruk. So how this kind of contract is better than Belina? Because in this case, Abdullah, he can sell it to the seller 1, he can sell it to seller 3, or he can hold this ownership until, for example, if he found a better buyer that can purchase from his is higher than 10,000. So the ownership problem here is solved in Tawarruk. So if you have any questions, you can ask in the group WhatsApp, right? Or you can ask in a comment in YouTube, right? So a fourth type of a product is sell and buyback arrangement. All right. For example, the bank has some kind of a certificate representing some kind of portfolio. It is it's look like the sukuk musyarakah for Islamic bank, for example, but it is different. They are using under Bay'ud Dain or Bay'ul Wafa or Wa'ad. Alright? Let's say, for example, if you have 1 million, for example, normally the bank will, he has a data whose customer has 1 million. So from this 1 million, the bank will call you, bank will offer you some kind of certificate representing some kind of underlying asset. It can be from his asset, or can be any type of asset, but this asset should be representing of 1 million. So the bank will sell it to you. This 1 million can be under wadiah. Alright. So in the for example, in the future, for example, after 3 months, the bank will buy this his debt. It normally a discount, right? This is wadiah. On bank wafa, mostly the bank will sell to you some kind of certificate, and the bank will promise you to buy these certificates at higher price. Alright. While in the one, it is kind of a promise where the banks will promise you, if you buy this certificate, he will promise you to buy back back this certificate. Alright, these 3 times of contract that used in sell and buyback arrangement. Alright, now we are moving to Islamic saving and current account, because we before discussed about wadiah. Alright. What is wadiah? Wadiah is self custody contract. Means what? If, for example, let's say, for example, I'll change this one. Update with Abdullah and Abdurrahman. Alright. Say, for example, Abdullah wants to travel for Hajj, for example, and he has a car, right? Okay. If he has a car, this car, nobody will take care of it. So Abdullah will ask Abdurrahman to take care his car Camry, for example. Alright, we change this car. For example, Volkswagen. Alright, because I have Volkswagen. Volkswagen, for example, the highest one is Touareg. Right. Now, let's say Abdullah wants to ask Abdurrahman to take care of his car under wadiah. But this wadiah is only a self-custody contract. Means what? If anything happened to this car, for example, Abdurrahman have no responsible. So how to make it Abdurrahman is responsible for that? You can add the wadiah, not only wadiah contract, but it should be there is a doman. Alright? Doman contract. So wadiah yan domana. If anything happened to the Abdullah's car, Abdurrahman will be responsible. For example, under wadiah contract, if somebody throw the car and then the door is broken, for example, Abdurrahman has no responsible. But if Abdullah give a wadiah domana contract, alright, Abdurrahman will be responsible because he guaranteed that the car will be safe with me. The same thing like if, for example, this Abdurrahman, we change to Islamic Bank and Abdullah is become customer. Alright? If Abdullah only placed, for example, we change the car into fund or money, right? So in this case, if only wadiah, Islamic Bank cannot benefit from this fund. He cannot invest. He cannot provide the financing to his customer. But if this wadiah domana, Islamic Bank is guaranteed that this fund will be saved with me. Alright? If this fund will be saved, so the bank can benefit from this fund by investing this money using mudharabah, using wakalah, or providing car financing, house financing to his customer. So Islamic Bank will get a profit from it. right? But his customers or Abdullah will not get a profit from this kind of investment because this only wadiah contract. So that's why before, if the bank using wadiah, they normally put yad domana. Alright, so and the next line, so that's why legal definition, a cousin of persons to give a property of another in by explicit or implicit terms. So if in wadiah is only a safe cousin in between depositor and custodians, being an amanah for it does not impose any liability on the custodian. So that's why I told you, there is no imposition of liability to Abdurrahman if it is on the wadiah. Custodian liable for his undertaking are not entitled to any profit gain from the contract. So Abdullah and customer will not get any benefit from it or any profit. Customer not allowed to use a benefit from depositant. So that's why Islamic bank cannot use the fund if this only using wadiah contract. So in summary, wadiah yad amana, not domana, wadiah yad amana. The custodian is trustee. Deposit asset property must be kept separately from other asset of fund, not pooling of fund. So if it is Abdullah funds, it should be written here Abdullah fund. If it is coming from Marwa fund, is written Marwa fund, and so on and so forth. Right? The custodian has no right to use and trade with the asset. So he cannot use the car. He cannot trade with the fund. Right? The custodian is not liable loss damage asset unless used by his own means. So these assets has no Abdurrahman or Islamic bank has no liability unless this caused by Islamic bank or by Abdurrahman. But this is not not being practiced by the Islamic bank. So so how the bank can benefit from this one? As I mentioned from the beginning, the bank should add the contract or combine the contract with doman. So wadiah ya doman. So in doman on liability now, custodian is now liable for any loss damage to deposit property. So Islamic bank will responsible to anything with the fund. Alright, so or Abdurrahman will respond for anything with the car. Right? Custodian can use the deposit property. He can invest this money, right, to any kind of investment which is suitable for the Islamic bank. From the main profit, again from the use deposit property is exclusive the right of custodian. So anything and any profit gained from this transaction will be the right of Islamic bank. Alright. So in summary, wadiah yad domana is custodian is trustee and guarantor to safeguard the deposit assets. So it is both. He will be a trustee and guarantor at the same time. So the deposit asset need to be separated or segregated. Deposit asset or property can be used for trading and so on. The customer has the right to any income derived from the utilization of the deposit assets. Depositor can take back deposit asset at any time. So if customer or Abdullah wants to take the fund, he can take at any time, right? Wadiah yadaman is like qard, right? Therefore, all principles of loan will be applicable. So that's why if the bank is using qard, or if the bank using wadiah in his contract, deposit contract, the bank cannot give any benefit to customers. Not only increase in one paisa on 1 real, but also any kind of benefit. Before there is one Islamic bank, they are giving price scheme to those who are deposited his fund to his bank under wadiah. So that's why this against the principle of wadiah and qard. So that's why even you cannot give the customers some kind of gift, because this gift also a sample of benefit. So it is tantamount to riba. So this is not allowed. Alright. If you want to have a price scheme, you can use mudharabah contract, not wadiah and qard. Thus, as long cannot generate any pre-agreed profit income to divide over an above principal amount deposited, otherwise tantamount is riba. As I told you that any increase of this wadiah saving account, it is tantamount is riba if it is pre-agreed. But if, for example, the bank is on his willingness without any pre-agreed or pre-conditions at the beginning, it is fine, right? So now, what is the Sharia issues in this saving account? The question is, first, hiba, as we discussed earlier. Can we give hiba? Of course not, right? Unless it is in the future, which is not pre-agreed. So that's why abstention of hiba prior to at the time of contract is not allowed, right? So another Sharia issues, how to verify if it is individual or company. So it should be coming from the owner. It cannot be from somebody, unless if it is company, he has the company can assign somebody on behalf of the company, right? On saving account. On current account, what if the fund is in insufficient, right? For example, if the bank rejected this check, so there is no issue. If the bank still provided the fund while the account is not enough, the balance is not enough, this only considered as cost. The bank cannot ask the customer to give any increase in that amount. Second thing, overdraft facility. So this normally used in current account for overdraft facilities, but in overdraft facilities the bank cannot give any increase, any profit out of it. Right. A second type of product of Islamic bank is Islamic investment account. So the current practice is to use a partnership or either mudharabah or wakalah investment as the underlying contract in the Islamic investment account, as we discussed earlier. Mudharabah is contract of profit sharing whereby the customer is the investor capital provider and the bank is the manager of the fund. Right? The customer and the bank share the profit according to a certain ratio or percentage. Right? Now we change this example become mudharabah contract. Right? This we change. This, for example, Islamic bank. Right? Say if it is Islamic bank under mudharabah, how this deposit product working? Right? Say for example, Abdullah provide 1 million Omani Riyal for under mudharabah investment account. Right? So in terms of profit, right, Abdullah will agree with the bank how much the profit sharing ratio between them. The profit sharing ratio, for example, 35% for Abdullah, 65% for Islamic bank, right? And the financial loss, if any, borne by the customer. If it is lost, it is solely borne by the capital provider. His is a capital provider. The bank will become entrepreneur. Okay? So, let's say in the first month, out of this 1 million, the bank will gain profit, for example, 100,000. Right? So, if 100,000, if it is profit, 35,000 going to Abdullah, 65,000 going to Islamic bank. Right? If it is lost, and if it is profit, sorry. If it is lost, for example, in the second year, lost, for example, 20,000. Right? So this 20,000 will be borne by Abdullah, and the bank will not borne any loss. Right? Because the bank will already lose his time and effort. Okay? So this is the concept of mudharabah. So the modus operandi of mudharabah, as I mentioned, the profit share according to predetermined price and a predetermined ratio, and profit sharing cannot be fixed amount or fixed on capital contribution. Let's say, for example, Abdullah said, I want from this 1 million, I want to take, for example, 4%. So this is not allowed, right? Because in mudharabah investment account, it is the profit should be by profit sharing ratio. So 35%, not 4% from the capital. It is not allowed. It is considered as riba. Alright? So if, for example, in the first year, alright, bank get a profit of 100,000. So the Abdullah said, I want 40,000 for it. Right? It is not allowed. Right? Or maybe Abdullah said, I want the profit from this 1 million. I want to have, for example, let's say, I want the profit of, for example, 30,000. This is also not allowed. Cannot be fixed amount. Cannot be in a percentage of the capital. Alright? So this is the rule of mudharabah investment saving account. What about loss? As we discussed, loss should be borne by Abdullah. Mudharib will only be personally liable if the loss is due to his negligence. Let's say, for example, Islamic Bank intentionally, for example, put investment not in normal or agreed or in allowed by central bank. So this will be borne by Islamic Bank. Or for example, Abdullah said, I want to put my money on the investment only in real estate, for example. But the bank put investment on, for example, on food, related items. So that's why if there is a loss on it, so Islamic Bank will responsible for loss. I hope you understand, right? You can put note on my explanation on the whiteboard. So, alright. The second thing is wakalah. Right? Now we change to wakalah. This mudharabah finished. Now we change the example to wakalah. Right. What is wakalah? Wakalah is a contract of agency where a person, the principal as muwakil, appoints another person as agent or wakil due to a certain well-defined task, for example investment, on behalf of him for a specific fee or commission or without fee or commissions. Right. Now we change our example here. Say for example, if Abdullah invests, alright, 1 million here. So better I change to another color. So make it easy. Alright, good. So we make another color of this one. Alright, let's say Abdullah invest money 1 million Oman Riyal to bank under wakalah investment. Right? So in this case, Abdullah become wakil, and Islamic Bank become wakil. Alright, agent. Or this become principal, this become agent. Right. What is it? In wakalah, in principle, customer does not have the time or knowledge or expected to execute the work by himself. So normally, why Abdullah appoint Islamic Bank to do wakalah investment? Because he has no time, right? Or he has no expertise how to do the investment. All right. So that's why he appoint Islamic Bank to do the investment. So this kind of appointment can be agreed fee with agreed fee or commission, can be without fee or commissions. Alright? If with fee, for example, all of this 1 million, Abdullah agreed to give commission or fee to the Islamic bank, for example, 10,000 at front. Right? Right. So this is a fee, right? If it is fee, if it is not, no issue. So it can be both, with fee or without fee, right? Now, the profit will be channeled to the customer. If any amount exceeds from the expected profit, will be considered as bonus to the bank. Let's say, for example, in the beginning, Abdullah and Islamic Bank agreed the expected profit from this investment, for example, 5%. Let's say this is expected profit. Alright, expected profit 5%. Okay, we put here expected, profit at 5%. Okay, fine. Now let's say, for example, on the first year, this investment getting, for example, 100,000 profit. Alright. So if it is 100,000 profit, so the profit will be going to Abdullah 5%, means from this 1 million. Alright, so 5% means 50,000. So the remaining 50,000 will go to Islamic Bank as a bonus. Alright. So this 5% out of 1 million. Okay. Alright. So however, the loss be fully borne by the capital provider, wakil or customer. So if it is lost, for example, the second year is lost, equivalent to 50,000. Right? So if it is lost, the loss will be borne solely by Abdullah, except this loss is because of the Islamic Bank. Because of his negligence, so Islamic Bank will borne this loss by himself. Let's say, for example, Abdullah appoint Islamic Bank to do investment. For example, the agreement is, for example, in food security, for example, food related items. Alright, this is the agreement. But Islamic Bank doing investment not in food. For example, he's doing investment on the medical related items. So if it is lost, Islamic Bank will borne this loss because he is already outside the agreement. Alright. So that's why the modus operandi of wakalah, in profit, expected profit will be the right of wakil. The expected profit, for example, here we have 5%. Any amount exceed from the expected profit normally become a 4-1 bonus to the bank. This 50 remaining will become a bonus to the bank. The wakil entitled to agreed fee. Right? If it is agreed with fee, the Islamic Bank will entitled to get fee. For example, 10,000 fee. The profit cannot be a fixed amount, a fixed on capital contributions. So this because this only expected profit. Let's say, for example, the profit again on the first year is not 100,000. It's, for example, 20,000. Right? So the customer cannot claim to the Islamic Bank that he will ask 50,000, but because the profit only 20,000 will go all to Abdullah. Alright, but the Islamic Bank will not get any profit because he not exceed the expected profit as per the agreed. Right? Right. If it is from the fees perspective, point of view, if this is fee 10,000 is already paid upfront, so this 50,000 is already going in full to the customer. If it is paid on the yearly basis, so the customer will not get 50,000 but minus 10k, right? So he will get 40,000. What about loss? Loss in it will be borne solely by muwakil, as we discussed, except if it is negligence of the bank. The bank will borne this loss. Alright. So the other types of Islamic account is general investment account. Right? General investment account mudharabah arrangement is general mandate mutlaqah. The ratio of profit relation is more or less uniform standard, advertised as a ready package between the bank and scam. The minimum investment is lower than a special investment account. So in the investment account itself, there is two types. Alright? As we discussed earlier, investment account, alright, there is general investment account, there is special investment account. Alright. In general investment account, as I mentioned, this is normal. So the rate will be given here is also normal. For example, it is around, for example, between 2 to 3%, because the amount here deposited here, it is not much. For example, it is less than 50k, for example. 50k or below. But here, special investment account, this is specific mandate. For example, this this mudharabah yani mutlaqah. If it is in mudharabah, we call it mudharabah mutlaqah. In Arabic, we call it mudharabah mutlaqah. Alright. Here, mudharabah muqayyada, specific. Alright. Here mostly negotiable. Alright, this is negotiable. This normally only around this one. Alright. This is mostly for high net worth individual. High net worth individual. Right. So even the customer can specify what kind of investment the bank can do. For example, I want my money of for example 10 million. I want the investment only in real estate. Alright. Here you don't have that kind of negotiations, because the amount also is not much. Alright. So that's why this is mudharabah mutlaqah, this is mudharabah muqayyada. So now let's discuss mudharabah in banking. Alright. One contemporary application of mudharabah in Islamic banking is structure of variable rate deposit. Right. So there are variable rate of deposit. The mudharabah investment account has been loosely compared to the conventional fixed deposit. So some people saying this is not much different with a conventional fixed deposit because there are similarities. And similarities, for example, requires commitment of deposit for specific time period. For example, 3 months, 6 months, 1 month, 9 months, 12 months. Otherwise, no return will be given on the deposit. Rates tend to be tracked on fixed deposit and are generally higher than saving account rate. So the similarities are the same. So the treatment, you cannot break the deposit, but if you agree on 3 months, you cannot break in 3 months. If you agree on 12 months, you cannot break in 12 months. Otherwise, you will not get a profit. Or maybe there is some kind of compensation. The difference contractual deposit amount is not guaranteed, no capital protected. So the differences between Islamic bank and conventional, in Islamic bank, especially in the current time, for example, during the coronavirus outbreak, right? If the bank face the problem, the bank is not liable to give a profit if the bank not gain any profit from this kind of time. Alright, rate of return is not prefixed, ex ante, but only indicative rates given. The profit sharing ratio here only indicates indications, right? Only indicative, right? Expected profit in wakalah investment account also indicative. 35%, 40% on the we don't know in the future how much the bank will get the profit. All of the profit will be shared accordingly based on the agreed profit sharing ratio. Actual rate of return is only given at the end of the investment period, which may or may not differ from the indicative rate. As we discussed earlier, if the profit higher than expected, the customer will get the profit as per the expected from. If for example, before example of 100,000, if it is 100,000, so it is the customer will get the expected profit of 5% out of 5 million. If for example the bank only gain only 20,000 profit, so the customer only get 20k, which means only 2% the expected profit from the 1 million, so not 5%. So this why this is cannot be fixed. Now the question is, can current account adopt both wadiah and mudharabah concepts? Of course yes, but it is still not practiced in some banks, but it is practiced in another banks, right? So as you know before, as we discussed in the beginning, mostly current account, right, using qard, right? But some companies, they're expecting profit from this current account, so that's why it can be divided into two contracts. Both contract cannot be executed simultaneously. Need to determine the monthly average minimum balance in the account. So to distinguish between wadiah and mudharabah. For example, I give you in the slide. For example, 3,000 is minimum for mudharabah eligibility. If depositor have more than 3,000, he's eligible to receive return from mudharabah account transactions. But let's say in the current account there is qard or there is mudharabah, right? Say for example, if he has for example 3,000, he should divide it, for example, this 3,000 for qard current account is 100,500. For this mudharabah investment account is 1,500. So it should be divided. It cannot be, and this has a specific contract agreed, and this also a specific contract. So two contract difference agreed, signed by the customer. Now, two-tier mudharabah. Alright. If what we discussed earlier, the mudharabah is only one side, but in the bank normally is not only one side of mudharabah. There is another side of mudharabah. What we call it two-tier, for example. Okay, give you example. This is Islamic bank. This is Abdullah, for example, as the customers. Here is Abdul Rahman as entrepreneur, right? Right. The bank normally taking money from Abdullah, for example, 1 million, 1 area. So in this case, Abdullah become capital provider. All right. The bank become entrepreneur. Right. In this verse, when Islamic bank, give, for example, to Abdurrahman, for example, mudharabah financing, for example, business in financing based on mudharabah business financing, alright. This will change the position of Islamic bank from entrepreneur become a capital provider, Here he become entrepreneur. Alright? 1 million Oman. Alright. Now, is it allowed? Yes, of course it is, because it is different. Here is the contract is different. The second contract also different. But if in Oman, though if those Islamic bank using mudharabah, running musharaka, so he can link this one, right? So issues in mudharabah investment account. Two silent features in mudharabah contract and no capital guarantee for the robul mal. If even lost, robul will bear all the capital loss. No guaranteed positive return. Profit sharing ratio between the bank and the customer. With the modern investment, although the above two features of the contract by fee to or market operation, they are not realized. At least the intended spirit. While the mudharabah contract does not guarantee capital preservation, there is implicit guarantee by the central bank. Yes, normally the Islamic bank will say there is no guarantee, but quote unquote normally if the bank still in good in operations, normally the profit is there and the capital is quote unquote guaranteed. Especially if the customers who have having, for example, 20,000 below or 50,000 below, there is also a scheme where the authority has the deposit insurance scheme, like Islamic banking deposit insurance scheme. So this is based on the Sharia one. Although the modern investment account only provide indicative rates and the actual rate of rent can differ, in theory normally bank will give the same as agreed normally. If the bank are in profit, if in loss, mostly the bank will negotiate with the customer, will inform the customer that our profit is not as good as before, so your profit sharing ratio is less than what indicated in the beginning. Alright. Mudharabah contract is meant to be a productive risk-taking venture. However, because the following two factors, risk-taking is significantly minimized. As implicitly guarantee all the bank deposits, including mudharabah investment account. Right? It is in the best interest to ensure risk-taking is minimum. Given CBO's regulatory authority, it has given significant control and influence. So that's why this is just to give a confidence to the customer that a central bank will take care your deposit. So mudharabah investment account expect to get a positive return. Zero or negative return are totally unacceptable and will likely result in withdrawal of deposit if, let's say for example, the bank not give any return during the loss. This will impact the customer will take all their money from that bank, right? And if in the deposit months the mudharabah investment account is simply like Islamic versions of fixed deposit. This is the problem. So it takes time to explain to the customer that this fixed deposit is different from conventional. Later is made the market communicate mudharabah investment account as a risk-taking venture, because in Oman we still new, so it is takes time to explain to the customer what is the nature of mudharabah investment account is, right? So what are the effects of employing the mudharabah contract in this manner? While mudharabah investment account as a financial instrument may be Sharia compliant, the objective of the Sharia embodied in the mudharabah contract are not realized. There is a minimal risk taking. So, but from the bank perspective, the bank normally will manage the risk, of profit. For example, they are put a portion of profit of the bank in reserve, so that in the next month, if the profit is lower than what agreed, the bank will take some portion of this reserve. because the Islamic banks liability they would have so little room of risk taking, the bank in turn is not able to invest in risk taking venture. So that's why, because bank is afraid if the the return is less than what is normally market do. In this case, the bank normally don't want to take risk on to invest the depositors' money to very risk ventures. Islamic bank are forced to resort of fixed rate financing instruments such as murabahah, such as diminution musharaka, such as ijaro. The two-tier mudharabah model cannot be implemented. Emphasis in credit on credit instead of profitability. The substance of the Islamic bank financing is similar to conventional, because there is enforcement from the liability side that the bank has to provide a good returns in the liability sides. Right? The issue in mudharabah investment account, advertisement of gift prior to the contract. So before we discuss about wadiah, it is not allowed. So what about if it is mudharabah investment account? If, for example, the bank advertise that if you place the money into this our bank, we will give you a gift. Is it permissible? Yes, because unlike the wadiah, the money saving account, the investment account is not loan. Gift to be paid out of a shareholders fund or bank shares, but the gift or maybe the price, if it is price scheme, it can be taken from the shareholders fund or the bank's share of profit. Alright. So investment from questionable sources, similar treatment as wadiah saving account. Bank not obligated to determine the nature of social investment income, but as a matter of policy, the bank can filter its investors. Alright. So this our class for at the moment. So we will continue the other deposit products in the next class. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate. Put in the comment on the YouTube, or you can ask on our group WhatsApp. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.